what's up, everybody? I'm Janice Boyd, and you are tuning into another episode of Women with Beauty and Brains. And today, I just feel so blessed and so honored to hear from my next special guest. We get to hear her life's journey and how it is to be a first lady of one of the biggest churches in the world. Everyone, please welcome Lady Angel Price.
Hi, guys.
I'm so happy to have you here. Like, I just feel so blessed.
Aww,
and I can't wait to hear your story. I really can't. And before we start, I want to give a huge shout out to Coffee Del Mundo for letting us actually do the podcast right here in their beautiful cafe. Thank you so much. All right, let's get straight into it. There we go. Let's get straight into the nitty gritty. Because I want to hear, like, since I've met you, I've just been so interested to hear your story. I feel like a lot of people know you, but they really don't know you like that. So I want to just hear,
do you feel like
behind
the scenes of me?
Right, exactly. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like people know who you are, but like don't really know you?
Right, yeah, I do. I feel like people have seen me grow up in the church, but then I think there's people who are like, where did she come from?
Right.
Right. Where did he find her at?
Right,
it's one of those type of things.
Yeah. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's do it.
You like, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
So can you tell us, like, where are you from? Where were you born and raised? Like, what high school did you go to?
Okay, this is going to be fun. So I am from South Central Los Angeles. And so I always say I'm Compton adjacent because that's where I ended. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so I'm from South Central Los Angeles. I grew up here. I came to the church when I was 3 years old. Most people don't know that. They're like, oh, she's new. She's a first-time visitor. No, boo-boo, I've been here already. I've been here for a minute. So my parents were in prison ministry, and a lot of people don't know that either. So I'm kind of like a PK. So my dad had a prison ministry, and my mom just support system huge. So I've seen her do this kind of lifestyle already. And that was actually huge for me. Who knew that it would be? And so I went to the schools here in Los Angeles. And then, when you kind of get like a certain age, you're like, oh, I want to do something different. So then my parents let me go to school in the Valley. And then I was getting bused back and forth. And then I was kind of like, I'm over this.
Right.
So now I want to go back to the schools in my area. Right. So I did all that. And so then I ended up moving to Compton during, I guess, maybe a transition of me and going to high school. And so I ended up in Compton. So I graduated from Compton High.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up there. And some of my family was over there already. So, that's why I can say I'm Compton adjacent. I'm a LA girl, right, but I'm a Compton girl as well. So that's how everything started for me. Mm-hmm. And then we came to the church, been there ever since.
So your parents did prison ministry at the church?
No. Like an outreach. My dad did his own.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
So my dad had his own prison ministry as we attended CCC.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so some people, just in case you don't know Lady Angel Price, she's from a church, very well-known church called Crenshaw Christian Center. And so I'm about to get right into the nitty gritty, like going right into it.
Okay.
How did you meet Pastor Price? And honest question.
Okay.
After you met him and you started dating him, how did the family and the church receive you when y'all were dating?
Ooh, okay, wait. We're just gonna dive in like
right.
that? Okay.
Because I want to know. I really want to know.
Okay.
Be honest.
No, I'm going to be totally honest because usually when we tell this story, Pastor's here and he tells his version and I tell the real version. So I love it. Today I get to tell the real version.
The real version.
Right. Okay, so here at CCC, Apostle Price, who was Dr. Price then, he had like a luncheon for local ministers and pastors and their families. And he did that because sometimes you can kind of get lost in the church and the pastors don't have friends and the wives don't have friends and the kids don't have friends. So it's like, let's bring everybody together who kind of understands this lifestyle, who you can just be comfortable around. You can just be yourself. So my parents were invited to that since they had prison ministry. And we were allowed to come, And so we were all like, oh, I don't want to go to this thing. It's another church event. Me and my sister were kind of dragging or whatever. So anyway, we get to the church event for the local ministers and pastors. and they had this break-off session. And so the break-off session, I was like, they're going to make us talk. And I don't like to be, like, on the spot. Funny. I don't like to be in the spotlight and in the forefront. And people don't know that. I used to be really shy. So I said, oh, they're going to make us stand up and say our names and our age and, like, where we're from and all this kind of stuff. So because Dr. Price, they were the leaders of the luncheon, his whole family was, like, on a panel. But this panel was like his children. And so I'm thinking, I've been at this church for so long. But because me and my sister kind of stayed to ourselves, we didn't like go to all the team stuff and all of that. We kind of stayed in the big church with my parents. We never knew that he had a son that was close to our age.
Oh, wow.
So,
really?
Like, even Pastor doesn't believe that. He's like, you saw me, you knew. I was like, I really didn't know. In church, when you're young and your parents are making you come, you just like, I'm not really listening, I'm not paying attention. I see a man walking around with an afro and he's got a Bible, you know, so you're not really focused on where's his family at, or you're not paying attention to that kind of stuff. But I really believe now, later, God was just blocking that for a reason.
Right.
So on the panel was like this young, fine guy. I'm like, that's his son? I'm looking at my sister like, he got a son our age? No way. So anyway, we go through the whole stand-up kids, tell who your parents are, how old you are, that. We go through that whole process. And so then we were leaving, and he calls out to me. And I'm like,
who calls out to you?
Pastor Freddie did.
Oh, wow.
I was like, and my sister's like, he's talking to you. I'm like, no, he's not. He doesn't know me. So I was very shocked. So I turned around. I'm like, you talking to me? And he was like, yeah, I think I've seen you before. He starts talking to me right then. And he's like, do you have a, he's like, I think I've seen you. I think you're dating so-and-so. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, how you know that? So it was actually funny. And then I was like, well, yeah, I'm dating somebody or whatever. And so he was like, okay. And so I was like, well, that's it? That's all you got to say? I was being spicy.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah, right. So that was kind of like our first interaction. Mm-hmm. And then after that, me and my sister started coming out more, like to teen events, to the church picnic. All those things end up being like our favorite things to go to. We didn't know a lot of people, and so we were kind of nervous, but we just kind of felt our way around, worked our way out. And then one of my sister's friends they already were friends, but it was like later we connected the dots. That was Dr. Price's granddaughter. And so her and my sister were friends, and it was like, we didn't even know. But because she's so fun and bubbly, if you've ever met Drini, then you know. And so that's kind of how their relationship kind of worked. And so it was like, oh, well, let's just go hang out. Let's go have fun. And then I think that's just the rest of it. Like, the rest is history.
Wow.
Teenagers, 15, I think I was 15, up until now. I mean,
wow.
We've all just been tight, and then that's how it kind of started, like a friendship.
Mm-hmm. So how was it when you first started dating him? And when the family found out, how did they receive you? And then how did the church receive you when they found out that you were dating?
Well, I guess because it started around teen, like the time that we were in the teen program, teen ministry, that was difficult a little bit. I think it was more like everybody was just like, where did she come from? Who is this girl? Who are these sisters? It was a lot of, because it wasn't bullying back then, because people didn't really bully you. They just talked about you, but there was no action or anything behind it. So it was just a lot of, I guess I could say it was uncomfortable at first. Like, why are these people so mean, or why are these people so rude? Especially when I've been in the church, but I'm just now coming out.
Right.
So you just think people are going to just be fine and everyone's going to be nice. And no. So that was difficult at first a little bit. But I think because I had my sister, she got me through it. Because she's like, we don't care.
Right. Period.
He likes you. We don't care what they're saying.
Exactly.
It was that type of thing. And so I just had to get tough skin early on.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a young age.
Exactly. To be dealing with that.
Yeah.
To be dealing with that, to be taking on criticism, different things like that at an early age, which is why I'm just like, you know what? People probably shouldn't be dating at that age. People probably shouldn't be trying to hook up with nobody, because you don't know yourself. You don't know, you don't know nothing, really. You just like, oh my God, we like each other. But, you don't, and then I feel like too, other kids don't know themselves, and that's why they do it.
Right,
you know?
right. Or they were just
jealous. Exactly.
Not even, they were definitely jealous.
Right. Because most of it came from girls. So I had a lot of girl issues in the beginning there, and then the family was very sweet, very sweet, very welcoming. They just received me like, okay, this is who he's dating now, and they were very sweet to me. Oh my gosh, I love his parents, I love his mother. She's a true angel, and it was more like, okay. And I think it was because I came from a ministry family, and it was more, I think, comfortable for everyone because it was like, she knows this life.
Right.
It's not, oh, she's coming in to get something. Oh, she's coming in to take him down, or, just there was nothing negative from the beginning because I already kind of knew that lifestyle.
Right.
Most people, maybe on the outside, they want it, but they don't really know the behind the scenes of what it takes to be a PK, what it takes to deal with people, deal with criticism, and then at the same time have like compassion for people too.
Right. I still don't know how. I do not know how.
I mean, it's tough. It's not easy.
It.
It's not easy because the same people who criticize you will come up for healing the next week.
Ooh.
So I'm supposed to lay hands on you now.
Ooh. Oh my god.
But the good kind. I'm supposed to lay the good kind of hands on you, Christ-like hands.
Oh my
not
God.
The hands that I want to lay. When I've already heard that you've done thus and so.
Right.
So
you have to be anointed for that.
Yes.
And prayed up.
Yeah. It's a on the job training.
Yeah.
It's like a everyday thing. It's not like here's a handbook, here's how you do it.
Right.
Nobody has that. And
because your journey might be different from someone else's.
Yep. So you can't just follow that same guideline.
Right.
You can't follow that book.
Exactly.
Like, oh, your blueprint doesn't work for me.
Right.
But I think going through, being that my dad had prison ministry, I have like the love, compassion, and grace for people who need a second chance.
Yeah.
The people who are homeless. And then I think it worked out for me too, growing up being a ghetto girl. I know how to be something in everywhere that I go. Everywhere I can be something to everybody. Right. So I just know how to adjust. But it's been tough.
And you're a real angel too.
Aww,
like you really are. Like you really. Pastor Price actually says that he's like, angel is an angel, and if you know, like you really are. Like you were. I feel like you were called for this. Aww. When did you first become like the first lady of Crenshaw Christian Center? Because first it was Dr. Betty, and then when did you transition into the first lady?
I don't know. I'm not good with the dates, but I transitioned when he became the pastor. So once they said, okay, we're ready to get the ball rolling on this, we kind of just went through little like meetings and things about like, here's what it takes, here's what it is. And then they ordained him, and then they started transitioning us in. And then I was like, whoa.
Because I actually saw a video of you.
Did you see how young we were?
Yes. And you kind of looked like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, like
this
is happening?
Like major.
Because this is why I think too, why I say I think like God had the blinders on, because I was I guess I was naive in thinking, date the pastor's son. Oh yeah, he might take over later.
Right.
Never thought of that.
Oh my God.
Never thought of that dating him. We never talked about church stuff. We never just teenage kids having fun.
Right.
So I never thought about that part, and then I never thought, I'm just dating him right now. I never even thought I don't know where this was gonna go. So for me, it wasn't, I guess I was thinking, oh, if he ever took over, it would be like when he's in his 50s or 60s, right? I'm not thinking, how old would his dad already be if he's in his 50s or 60s? So I'd never even put the stuff together.
So how old were you when the both of you got married? And then how old were you when, how old you were when you became the first lady? I don't, because I can't even remember the dates. Was it
14
years ago that he became the pastor?
Yeah, he's been the pastor for 14 years. Yes.
Okay,
so it was 14 years ago we became the pastor and the first lady.
Okay.
We got married, I think I was 20 when I got married.
That's very young.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Very young. In marriage, in life, in living together, and knowing yourself
church.
And knowing and then adding on the church.
On top of that.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So huge adjustments, just to everything.
So how were you feeling in the beginning of being a first lady? Like, say, like after the first year or two, how were you? Did you feel like you transitioned, or are you still working on that? Like, how did you feel like in the beginning of it?
I think I didn't feel I guess I really didn't feel anything because his parents were active still. And then when he became like, first he was just helping his dad and filling in like substitute and different things like that. So it was fine. But then when he became in full throttle, I was just kind of like, okay, I don't know my place. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what should I do or where. And then his mom was very active still. So she still is active right now.
Right.
So she had already had all the women's programs, all the things around for outreach, all these just different things. So what I really tried to do was, I think in talking to her one time, she just always told me, the thing about being a first lady is sometimes you just, if you see a door that's open, there's a need, you kind of just plug in. And so that was always my thing, was I'll just plug in where I see a need, or plug in when I see something that I could do. So for a long time, I guess I just kind of felt like the second lady. Because I was he was the pastor, but his mom was still active. And so, and you know what? Because I'm not going to say not. I'm working on it. Good with public speaking and being before the people, with being so nervous and giving myself anxiety because I'm overthinking things. I'm totally fine with that. Oh yeah, she's still active. Good. I don't have to try to get up and talk properly and teach a lesson. I don't have to get up and do all these things. I could gradually take my time, learn myself, get in there, learn what I really have a heart for. And then I feel like that would be God leading me, okay, your time is now. Your time is now. So it was taking some getting used to. And so I was fine. I was just fine attending all the events, and just being his wife. And early on, we didn't have kids yet. So we had kids 5 years later into marriage. That was our plan. Travel, work, do everything, have fun, then have kids. Because that was a huge desire of my heart, was to be a mom. So I'm a super mom.
Yes, you are.
So I was waiting for that, I'm I'm gonna be a wife, I'm gonna be a mom, and get in where I fit in is pretty much how I took it. And so while I was waiting, before we even planned to have kids, I worked at the preschool because I love children. So I just kept working with kids, all these different things. I just stayed busy. And I think that helped me a lot because it gave me time to restructure myself, find me in the midst of this, what you could call something very, very huge, but you have to make it small in your mind so that it doesn't overwhelm you.
Right.
Because following into his parents' footsteps, that's major.
That's major.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's a lot of pressure.
Right.
Yeah. So I know you said you're kind of taking your time. Do you feel like you're ready now to really fully step into being first lady and doing different missions or outreaches? Because I feel like you're ready.
Right.
We always talk about I feel like you're ready.
Do. Yes. Yeah. You tell me you can do it. You can do it. Just go. I kind of feel like I'm half and half. I'm just the type of person who, I do this all the time. I overthink everything, and I shouldn't do that. Because I'm supposed to be using my faith and trusting God. But see, that's real people's struggles.
Right.
So I don't want to overthink it. I don't want to step out ahead of God. So for me, I'm going a little bit faster than I was, but I'm still not going full speed. So I have come to find out that I'm kind of like my dad. I love evangelist type stuff.
Ooh.
So I'm loving the stuff that we're doing, with the homeless. We just had a pop-up food drive.
That looked amazing.
It was so fun, and it's just the feeling of it, and then just to see the reward that it is for the people, it makes it all worth it. So I'm thinking those are the things where, how I said earlier, it's find a door to step into. I feel like those are my little niches. It's okay, I want to help the homeless. I want to feed the hungry. Anything with babies, I'm there with kids. And then I just kind of feel like I'm thinking now, what's my hey girl type of lane? What am I going to do for the ladies?
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah,
I feel like that's necessary.
Yeah, and because I feel like when I go out on my girls' nights, I'm like, ooh, we needed this.
Right.
We're months due, girls.
Yeah.
We're overdue. And so I'm like, oh, we so need to go out to eat.
Right.
And just vent and just have a good time. Because sometimes you wear so many hats as a woman, of course, one, but a wife, a mom, a sister, a friend. Just trying to be a good friend. That's a lot of work, too.
That's a lot of work.
And it's rare to find, good friends.
Right.
So it's I just want to still be you know, even though I'm busy, I want to be a good friend still. I want to be that friend who can check on other people, and people always just checking on me. So it's like, oh yeah, you got to remember, still be a friend, still be a mom, still be a sister, you know, a good wife. It's just like all these things. So I'm trying to balance everything. So that's why I say I'm half and half, because I'm learning how to juggle everything right now. So my word is like balance and consistency.
Oh, that's my word too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a healthy work-life balance, because I feel like I be too consumed with work like all the time, even though I'm doing this. This ain't work. This is fun. This is pleasure.
Yes.
But I feel like I just be so consumed with work and not enough with like just not being consumed.
Taking care of yourself. Yeah. That's what I've realized. Everything now too, I take, like, I mean, I pay a lot of attention now, because this is just the like journey that I'm on, is getting all my fitness and my health together. So I feel like that self-love part is like major for me. It's like I'm pushing away something else and I'm bringing in everything that I need now. So I'm just on that type of journey now. It's like, okay,
I love that for you.
Thank you.
I feel like it's necessary.
It's very necessary.
You have 3 children.
Yes.
You have a husband.
Yes, and a fur baby. So I have a dog.
Yeah.
So it's like all these things. I'm something to everybody else, but then you always put yourself on the back burner. It's like, why am I always last?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, why do we do that to ourselves? So now that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to push me up a little bit further.
Yes.
Take care of me, then I can still take care of everybody else.
Yeah. I feel like this whole, for a while, this is your season. Everybody needs to be pouring into you, because you do a lot. So I feel like this is your season to be poured into. And you already know, whatever you choose to do or whatever you decide to do at church, I'm like 100% supporting you.
Thank you.
Like, I'm just there. I just feel like I'm there to be like your support system, and
I appreciate it.
You know,
I need a team, so
to help you.
Thank you.
So I know I would just assume, and not even assume, because I kind of know some things like that go behind the scenes. Yeah. But I don't know everything, but I know enough.
Right.
I feel like you, as a first lady, just have so much, like, probably so many like obstacles that you've had to overcome, or that you're still trying to overcome.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about some that you can discuss, and talk about, you know, something that people might not know about that you have to deal with as a first lady?
Oh, absolutely. Let's go.
I'm ready. What's up? This is what it is. ABC.
No, really, I used to be like, when I'm venting to my sister or my mama, I was dogmatic then, because it's just like, oh my gosh, people don't realize you have feelings. It's like, I'm just a human being. I'm just a regular person. I'm a girl. You may have bad hair days. You may have your clothes might be off, meaning, okay, I just didn't put the outfit together well today. But it's like, where is the grace?
Right.
Like, people don't give grace for anything. So like I was saying before about it being tough coming into this role, people talked about me all the time. And so I had to get tough skin, because I'm thinking, these are grown-ups.
Right.
Like, I'm a child. You're a grown-up. It's ridiculous. And so, yes. Because now that I'm older and I look at it, I'm looking back like, I could never talk about this young girl. Like, she may be struggling. You don't know what her struggle is.
Right.
So for me, it was dealing with the weight. And I mean, I just can be just very honest here. I'm very busty. And so nobody knows what that experience was like for me.
That's a blessing, though. Give me some, girl.
Girl, let's trade. Nobody knows how that was in high school for me. So then for you to talk about me and my clothes, or talk about me and how I look, and then I had babies, and now you're talking about I can't get the baby weight off. It's like,
oh my
girl,
God.
You don't pay none of my bills.
And women definitely should be talking.
Right.
Women?
Yes.
Oh my God. So like, what do you do?
Doesn't it say like the older supposed to be teaching the younger?
Right.
So it's like I had to get tough skin. It's constant things of like, people are constantly picking you apart from head to toe.
Do they come to you and say that?
No, stuff just gets
back. Oh my
stuff
God.
Gets back. So it's like, oh, okay, you gotta fix this. Okay, we gotta make sure we do this. Make sure you have a slip on.
God, a slip?
Do you know that's how old that is? Do you know I'm so glad that all that stuff is gone?
Slips?
Girl, right. Where can you buy a slip at?
I used to wear one when I was little. I'm like, Mommy, why? Like, what is this?
So I'm just so glad that we have moved so far away from that, where we're like, come as you are, because God doesn't care what you have on.
Right.
He doesn't care how your hair looks today.
Right.
I'm coming to serve Him, worship Him, and this is supposed to be a place of comfort, like a home. I'm supposed to feel like I'm at home when I come to my church. So It was just all those struggles. So I've dealt with low self-esteem, depression, anxiety, all these different things, and then a lot of it came from the body of Christ.
Oh my God,
and
that's
it's like
so crazy.
it's crazy because it's like, oh, aren't we supposed to be Christ-like? Are we supposed to be loving like Christ loves?
Yeah.
Where's the grace? Where's the forgiveness? Where's any of that? But I mean, some people on the street will treat you better than people in the where we
That's
all
a
supposed to be in the all in the same kingdom, all on
Right.
the same team.
Oh my
But
God.
it has given me tough skin. Like I said, I feel like that little ghetto girl part has protected me.
Right, you need that.
Yeah, I needed that.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that I needed that.
Yeah.
But dealing with those things, I've had to find myself. Mm-hmm. If I want to wear braids, I'm going to wear braids.
Period. You look amazing.
Thank you. If I want to have my hair down or not down, I'm going to do it.
Period.
So it's like I had to just become
Did somebody
a,
say
become
that?
a
Say
big
something
girl.
about the braids?
Any hairstyles that I
Oh
have, the
my
wigs, the weaves,
God.
any extensions, anything. I'm
All
gonna do it
black
all,
women
okay?
do everything.
I'm gonna be cute.
Right.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be cute.
Right.
So but I think people too don't realize, like, how are you at that young age?
Right.
Like, did you have older people talking down about you at a young
Right.
age? It's just like you forgot that you were young.
Exactly.
You forgot that you dated young. You forgot that you got married at 20.
Yeah.
You forgot all these things because now that you're older, all you do is just like criticize.
Right.
And it's just wrong. Everything you do is wrong.
Yeah.
And even if it's right, it's wrong. So I had to get really tough skin and not be so sensitive anymore. I mean, I was sensitive before. I would be crying all the time. Like, I can't do nothing right.
Right.
Can't wear nothing right. Can't look a certain way. And then it was like it just dawned on me, and I'm asking him, do you care what they're saying? Because you're the one married to me.
Right.
And it's like, he's like, I love how you do your hair, or I love how you do this, or no, I liked when your hair was this color. Because I'll switch it all the way up.
Right. Right.
But when I realized it's like he loves me for me and
Right.
he doesn't care, it's like I never even thought of that. The stuff that people were saying, all of that went out the window. And it was like it just built my confidence back up. Like, okay, he's good. I check with him. Is this cool? What you think about this? You like this? And then only his opinion matters.
Right. Right.
Outside of how I feel about myself.
Right.
And so those are the things I had to grow my strength up in and
Yeah.
build my faith up on too. Like, okay, how do you get over this? How do you get over that?
Yeah.
Because it can be tough, and then sometimes it can feel very lonely.
Yeah.
Like nobody understands you, or
Right.
nobody understands this. So you who do you talk to?
Right.
So I talk to God a lot.
Yeah.
I pray a lot.
And I can only imagine, because some of y'all don't know, but I'm in ministry as well. And I just be like, I just asked you about a video. I'm like, can I post this? Because the saints be watching. And then I told Ash Charles, the cameraman, director, I'm like, yo, my shirt okay? He like, you asked me one more time. I'm just like, because I know the saints is watching. They're going to be watching.
Right.
But for you, it's like magnified. Like, oh my God, I just be praying. I just be praying
Thank
for
you.
y'all.
Yes, give me all the
Because,
prayers.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do to like decompress and get away from like all the noise and all the pressure?
The main thing, like, okay, so like I know a lot of people say that the pandemic was like a curse.
Nah, it was a blessing.
It was a blessing
It was.
for me.
Yeah.
I just decided to just change everything because we had to be in the house so much in the beginning. I started going to YouTube University and I started learning how to do all kind of things. I'm gonna learn how to do my braids. I'm gonna learn how to do my lashes. I'm gonna learn how to do my nails. These are the places I couldn't go. I started cooking different things. I started taking on this challenge. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be 40 this year. That was when the pandemic first started. So it was like, oh, so I started coming up with this thing for myself. I'm gonna lose 40 for 40. So I had this 40 for 40, lose 40 pounds
Yeah.
because I'm about to turn 40. I started doing all that. I started getting into, because my husband was doing it first as far as the clean eating, but I started taking it further, like, okay, we're gonna cook clean, we're gonna do everything clean. So I just would cut out a lot of stuff that I didn't need to eat anymore. And then because I love soda, I started saying, okay, I gotta get off this soda. I gotta get off this soda. So that type of me using my faith into the fitness to be healthy.
Ooh, faith into the fitness.
Yes, we used to have
My
a group
faith.
called Faith and Fitness.
Oh,
at the
I
church.
love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I love that too. I miss it
Yeah.
actually. Where we would come like on a Wednesday or something like that, Wednesday night, and we would work out in the gym together. It was to keep women encouraged because we're so busy, we have so much going on. It's like, how
Right.
can we do something? And I used to hate to work out. I mean, I still kind of do, but I at least started growing myself in that. I walk like 3 miles a day now and try to do like other workouts
that is a lot. I cannot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yes, that's a
God.
lot.
Every day, y'all do that every day?
Every other, because it just depends on the schedule.
Yeah.
So I try to do that, girl. I go to the movies. I gotta laugh. I love to laugh. I love watching funny videos. I can just watch reels like forever on Instagram. So I do, and then hanging out with the girls or taking the kids somewhere. Everything that's possibly that I can do to keep a balance is like away from the day-to-day church stuff.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me grounded as I'm like, okay, you're still Angel. You're still Angel outside of this. It's like, don't forget that part. So over at home, you're mommy and you can be Angel. So it's like, let's just do all the things Angel likes. Let's do the things that make Angel feel happy, you know? So that's how I keep the balance. I keep remembering, take care of me. Yeah. That's my big thing too this year. Is like, take care of you.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
It's your time, it's your season. Yeah, and I'm glad that you do all of that because you need that.
You need it. I
can't,
need the outlet.
I can't even imagine like half of the things that you've been through.
Right.
But that's, let's talk about something positive.
Okay.
I want to know what is like something that's amazing about being a first lady.
I would have to say the amazing part is when I see the people's faces of their lives have changed, people's prayers have been answered. Just like when I was saying we gave to the people just recently in that pop-up food drive. I mean, the people were just like so grateful. Yeah. And I'm thinking, you never know what somebody's going through. I mean, somebody could have just gotten, it's not that they're homeless, they could have just got laid off and they were having a rough 2 weeks. But just for people to get peanut butter and bread, I mean, they were like ecstatic. Yeah. And so that was so fun and fulfilling for me to see, okay, we got this person through another week. Right. And then inviting them to church. Here's how you can get through the next weeks. Here's how you can, keep it going. Right. And so that has been the rewarding part for me is just doing that work and then seeing people get results. So that part is blessed. It's been a blessing for me.
Yeah, I love that. So what has been your biggest accomplishment thus far, would you say?
In life?
Just in general, yeah.
I would say being a mom.
Oh, I love that.
It's my, I don't know, just ever since I was little, I guess I just wanted to be a wife and a mom. And so I had a few challenges getting pregnant in the beginning. And so, and it was like, they didn't know why. We couldn't figure out why. And then finally when we did, and then the doctor is like, oh, okay, we know how to fix this. And so it was just like, oh, it's my turn. And so when I got pregnant, I was extremely happy. I didn't know I was pregnant for 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I actually feel like, woo, I missed the whole beginning part. I felt good. I felt like this was really cool. Yeah. Can I do this again? But it was exciting. Like when I actually went to the doctor, I'm like, my stomach is hurting. Went to the doctor and he's like, you're pregnant. And I'm like, wow. No way. Like that's what I had been waiting for. Yeah. And so I was just overjoyed. And so that's just been like the best thing that I always wanted. And so for me, I'm like, oh, I don't know life without the kids now. Yeah. Even though sometimes you're like, I just want to be by myself and have a little me time. Yeah. But I wouldn't trade it. Oh, I love it. So wife and mom, that was on my top of the list. Yeah.
And you're a perfect wife and mom.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect.
I be trying.
So you're getting ready to get honored at the First Lady's High Tea. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Can you tell people that might not know what that is exactly? And how are you feeling about that? Because it's a really big honor. So how are you feeling as well?
So first, I didn't know how big this honor was.
When'd you find out? How'd you know it was big?
I think they sent me the video reel of like the past award ceremonies. And I was like, huh? I was like, wait, what? That's Cicely Tyson in the video. Yeah. And so I was kind of just like, ooh, wow. So I got a little nervous. But after that, I have this way of where I psych my mind out to not overthink things. So everybody around me is like hype and excited. And I'm just like, yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
When people are like, are you excited? I'm like, yeah. I'm just keeping it cool, keeping it just regular because I don't want to get myself too worked up because I think maybe I shouldn't have saw that video.
Oh my God.
Because it did. I think the way I had it in my mind was like, oh, it's like a high tea. It's just we're going to a tea party, and it'll be like a little award ceremony. And then I saw the thing, and I was like, this is like big.
It's like a big thing.
Yeah,
it's like a big deal. Am I tripping? Did they say the vice president might be there?
I don't know if she's gonna be there, but I think she has accepted this award as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Maybe not the exact one that I'm getting.
I was like,
right, because I think she might have got an award before, is what I should say. Not this one, but yeah, an award before by this same organization. And so it was just like, whoa, huh?
Yeah.
Like, really? I was like, little old me, like, what did I do?
Yeah.
It was that kind of thing. I really was like, did they mean his mom? I was like, maybe they meant his mom. I mean, I really was checking at first, like, are y'all sure it was for me? And they're like, no. They're like, they're calling for you.
Yeah.
So I was kind of trying not to be nervous and scared, because I really was like thinking, okay, have you done enough? Mm-hmm. And then everybody's like, you do plenty.
Right.
And don't think like that.
Right,
so,
exactly.
See, that's just another thing of me trying to pull myself back. Like,
and you can't, because right now it's like, it's your time.
Yeah.
It's your time to shine.
Yeah.
And it is your season.
Yeah.
So what is your ultimate goal in life, and what legacy do you want to leave behind? It doesn't have to be about being a first lady, but just in general.
Right. I think I want to just have people remember me for just being like the go-getter who saw a need and said, okay, how can we fix that? Of course, I want to be the ultimate super mom and super wife. And then just people to see me like, oh, if that little girl can do it, ghetto girl can do it, then so can I. So I just want to be that encouragement to people, and but still being myself. And so I want them to go, oh, she was a real one.
I love that. You are definitely a real one. Like, for real, for real.
Thank you.
Last question. Last question. What advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
Oh man, I've never been asked that question before. I think I would tell her that you got this. Like,
I love that.
Yeah, I think I would just tell her, chin up, straighten up your crown. You're gonna go through some things, but that's called life. You can get over these hurdles. You can get over these struggles, and toughen up, kid.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm gonna take that for myself. I ain't 16, but I'm gonna take that for myself. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Well, that pretty much wraps everything up. I feel so blessed and honored that I got to have you here. Like, I didn't know how you were gonna be when I first asked you to do it, but I just feel like it's just been amazing.
Oh yes, I had so much fun. Thank you for inviting me. This is my first podcast. Woo! And I had so much fun.
Yes.
I got to really be free and kind of show myself outside of being like Lady Angel. Like, just like, hey, what's Angel about? You know, just being free. So I really enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for having me.
That's what we're about. Here with Women in Beauty and Brains. That's what I want younger girls to be inspired, you know?
Yeah.
And to look at conversations like this and say, I want to be like her, or she's inspiring me to just keep going.
Yeah.
So I know I said this 1,000 times, but I really do. I feel so honored, and so privileged, because I feel like a lot of people just haven't heard your story, and I think that a lot of people will really enjoy this conversation.
I hope so. I hope it helps somebody, and I hope it gives people a chance to learn a little bit more about me, and so then get to see oh, she's fun.
Period.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. But I really do. I really, really do.
Thank you so much.
Of course. And I want to thank everyone again for tuning into another blessed episode of Women with Beauty and Brains. And I want to thank my special guest, Lady Angel Price, for coming and just being real and authentic. And I want to give a special shout out to Coffee Del Mundo for letting us shoot the podcast right here in their beautiful cafe. Until next time, I'm Janice Boyd. Peace and love.